Hello guys, welcome to my newest Arts of Iron 3 Their Finest Hour Let's Play. So you guys wanted to see me playing Soviet Union. It was a close call with, it was a close race with France, but Soviet Union managed to win, so I'm going to play with it. By the way, I'm going to play at normal difficulty because most of you will probably play Soviet Union at normal. I can actually play it at any difficulty level, but I don't think I don't think makes much sense if most of you are playing at normal. So I'll do that and play at normal. In this let's play I'm going to try something new, relatively new. While playing for the motherland, I used to actually I don't play Soviet Union for a long time. The last time I played it was with For the Motherland, and of course I had armor and many of that stuff, but I'm going to try something new with Their Finest Hour, because Their Finest Hour brought a new mechanic, which is armor piercing versus armor. So if you are unable to pierce, you suffer pretty nasty consequences. So you may ask yourself, so if that's so important now, why don't you go after heavy armor? Yeah, I did that with Finland, but I don't think right now, in my opinion, that would be the best strategy for the Soviet Union, and I will try to explain that a bit later. Let's start by the weaknesses of the Soviet Union. Like I always start when I'm beginning a game. I always first see what are their weakest their weakest spots, their problems, and try to solve them in time for whatever. So for what the Soviet Union has to do, their weakest, in my opinion, their major weakness is rather low leadership, because they are very far, or at least not. They have several problems with technology. As you can see, they are behind in air technologies. They are behind in the industry. In supply transportation, organization, civil defense. For example, France starts with this tech in 1942. For example, all doctrines, with the exception of 3 or 4, are at pre-1918 levels. As you can see, yeah, only 5 texts of these doctrines are have been researched thus far. So same thing here, we only have this unlocked, and this is not good also. The more important texts are not researched. So with such a poor technology, and the need for a huge army to defeat the Axis, I don't think that, especially how the research works, when we need to build stuff, lots of stuff, of the same stuff, to make the research faster. So, for example, if we want to research this technology faster, we have to have a very high, I beg your pardon, we have to have a very high armor practical, which Soviet Union has, But Soviet Union will also be needing lots of infantry because you can't have an army made of tanks um, alone, and the tanks are technologies much harder to research. They require much more time, and because as you can see, difficulty 3, difficulty 5, difficulty 7. And we need, like I said, we need a big army, so a big army needs lots of officers. It's not good to be researching lots of stuff when we actually need lots and lots of officers. So how are we going to deal with the lack of armor? That's actually quite simple. We are going to research anti-tanks. Anti-tank, but that's not enough. So because when the Germans have heavy armor, we all know that anti-tank can't penetrate the heavy armor brigades. So we are actually going to research these from day one and never stop researching it. So heavy armor, if you do this, heavy armor won't be a problem. Now that we talked about a bit of the problem with the officers, and we've seen the research and rather low leadership. If we had like 30 leadership or 36 or 35, something like that, actually the US is starts with something like that, around 35 leadership, more or less. Heck, we could research everything we want and have a pretty big army in time, but we don't have that. We have 21.9, and this will actually be reduced with one of our decisions here in 1937, when we will gain 22 in unity and we will lose 15% of our leadership, of our pressure leadership, along with we'll gain 5 in descent and 500 in manpower. But the biggest thing here is that we gain 22 in national unity. But we'll talk about this in a minute. We have lots of stuff here to talk about. So let's see. Sorry guys, my English problem, non-scripted let's plays is it's not good to avoid these interruptions. So I'm going to focus research on infantry techs, on artillery and in anti-tank and artillery. I won't bother with anything else in these screens. I will be researching light cruisers, but they are not a priority for now, so I'll come back here later. In capital ships, I actually only need to research heavy cruiser, but since one of my subscribers wants me to build carriers, I'm going to do that. This is, in my opinion, this is a waste of leadership for the Soviet Union, because we can deal with the lack of carriers in other ways, like having multi-roles based in land-based islands or nearby. Whatever with multi-roles we can deal with the lack of carriers most of the times, and only have a surface action group. So, but I will research it because of that, and I will research heavy cruiser. Hopefully we can steal some of these techs, but I'm not counting on that. I'm a sucker for transport planes, so where is it? Yeah, I need this tech, and this tech needs basic twin engine airframe bombers and basic aero engine of fighters. So basic twin engine, yeah. So I'm going to research these, but is also not a priority. and I'm going to research basic bomb because we want to improve our carrier air groups and our close air support if we build them, and also our multi-roles, hard attack, soft attack and sea attack. In this case sea attack for our close air support and carrier air groups. We'll be researching naval bomber development and our air-launched torpedo, just because you are going to build carriers. So imagine that we don't build carriers. I would have much more officers in when they are needed. This is when they are going to be needed. This is a absolute priority, along with these ones here. These, not right now. Yeah, agriculture. In time we will be researching these, but not now. I won't bother with this very much. I'll tell you why. Here's why: because I won't be building IC. Many people like to build IC with Soviet Union. That's actually a good strategy, but I want to defeat the Germans as soon as possible, so if I want to defeat them, I'm going to just ignore that. Why? Because we already start with a pretty big army, and what I need is to speed up research, and to speed up research I need to start building stuff. I need to start building infantry divisions. I need to start building artillery. So if I start building IC, all my practicals, all these practicals will start going down and make my life much harder. That's why I won't build IC. So as I was saying, because I'm not going to build IC, I will ignore these texts, at least for now, and maybe for the whole game, I don't know, but for now I won't bother with this, because we have more than enough for our current IC. On land, I will keep the research very extremely focused with what we really need. So we really need superior firepower. We really need grand battle plan for combat reinforcement. Delay doctrine, because it will improve our artillery and anti-tank morale. So the speed at which they regain organization, that it's influenced by these and a few other things, but especially by these. Of course, mass assault and infantry warfare, and south concentration, because we want to our artillery and other anti-tanks to have a higher organization. I'm also going to research, I want human wave, that reduces the stacking penalty, and I want these. In naval I'm going to research this, but this is not a priority right now. This is a priority. So now that I was almost forgetting. I'm going to research theory here, artillery theory and infantry research. Why? Because I won't be researching none of these here, so I will probably unlock marine, maybe airborne infantry, don't know, but we only have 4 each here. So with the practical decay, with the technology decay, we are going to lose a bit of knowledge, which will reduce our ability to research ahead of time. So this not only gives us +1 in infantry theory or artillery theory, but will also reduce the rate at which we lose our knowledge on those technologies. So I'm going to research these and actually going to give it priority. Sorry for the interruption, I'm back. So after since we already dealt with technology, it's time to go to the intelligence screen. I always start with the almost always start with the intelligence screen because intelligence is very powerful in their finest hour. So our domestic spies with Soviet Union will be trying to kill all enemy spies, increase our national unity a bit, and support our ruling party. Supporting our ruling party in single player games, it's not very important, and maybe not even in multiplayer, because Soviet Union is a faction leader, so there's no really much it's no point trying to support our ruling party unless to get rid of that fractured government over there, which reduces our national unity by minus 0.05. And because I don't need to raise our national unity a lot, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. That's the setup for our domestic spies. But since we have a guy here, at least during 1936, that gives a spying bonus of plus 5%. I'm going to actually, sorry, not this. I'm going to try to steal technology from France, the US, hopefully some pretty good naval techs, because US is behind in almost everything with the exception of naval techs. The United Kingdom, and once our spies in Germany run out, and once our spies in Germany are done with raising threats, I will at least switch the remaining spies to tech stealing. So we will be stealing from France, raising threat in Germany, and stealing from the United Kingdom and from the USA. So you may ask, if we have such low national unity, why am I only raising with 1 point of national unit? The answer is quite simple, because and I will answer both questions at the same time. Why do I need to raise threat in Germany? So first one is, why do I need to not increase so much the national unity? So here's why. Because we have an event here that will give us plus 22 in national unity in the beginning of 1937, and we also gain 500 in manpower and 5 in descent, along with minus 15% of leadership. So national unity is not a problem, and because national unity usually only is a problem unless you are losing the war badly. So it doesn't matter much because if you're losing that badly, it's not an extra 5 points or 10 points of national union that is going to save your ass, in my opinion. So national unity is very important for laws. For laws, for example, to enact the war economy, because we are not a democracy. We are a totalitarian system and communist. But it is, in this case, it doesn't matter. It only matters that we are not a democracy. So we need our neutrality to be below 70. That's why we need to raise threat in Germany. We start with 80 neutrality. We need to get rid of 10 neutrality as soon as possible, and we need a national unity of at least 60 to be able to enact the war economy. So this is only requirement is a war. So for economic laws, like I said, we need our neutrality to be below 70 and the national unity of 60. So with that event we will be way over 60, and we will be reducing our neutrality by raising threat on Germany. Another place where we need national unity a lot is to enact the heavy industry emphasis. So we need, in most countries, you need an unity of 80. With Soviet Union and communist countries, we only need a unity of 70. So we have currently 54, with 22 given us by that event. We'll be at 76, so we will be able to enact the heavy industry emphasis in 1937 with no problem. Another thing that where our national unity is also very important is to enact the 3-year draft. And again, we are currently at 54 with plus 22 for the given us by that event. We will be at 76. I'm just raising national unity to prevent some random event from removing us one unity and prevent us from taking advantage of 3-year draft already in 1937. We don't even have requirements for neutrality because we are communism. Our party is communist, so pretty big explanations there. Hope you have I have explained it well. So this is a huge country. We have to take a huge amount of decisions for everything to work out in the end. So I've talked about the intelligence. We're right in the right screen right now. So I'm gonna look at the ministers. These guys all do the same, minus 10% of supply consumption. This guy is actually very good. Can't replace this one. Well, I really don't need resources right now. We have tons of resources, so I'm going to switch this for my plus 20% of supplies. But I'm kinda, I don't know. For now, I just leave this. I will leave this guy, and let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna buy. Since I'm going to buy lots of supplies. Oh well, forget it. I'm going to keep this guy at plus 20%. We have lots of supplies, so we'll be having lots of fuel, and I'm going to try to sell fuel. So I want the supplies because I want to save a bit of our precious IC. This guy we don't have. He's going to be replaced by this one. That will give us threat impact plus 5%, which is actually good for what we want, and we'll also support our ruling party. I already talked about this, so I will be enacting a war economy hopefully in early 1937. I will be switching to heavy industry emphasis. Here's why. Consumer goods gives us a penalty and minus 15% of IC efficiency for production. So with this we have very low consumer goods needs, but we also have like I said, a minus 15% if IC efficiency, so things need more time and more IC to build, while heavy industry emphasis gives us an increase of 10% in consumer goods, but we'll halve this 15% in IC efficiency for production, and will give us another 5%, and will also give us a 10% supply through output. In the end, in my opinion, I have emphasis because I am going to build lots of stuff and I need practicals as fast as possible. This is my choice. I will be enacting this. So now that we have talked about technology, sorry, we have already talked about technology. It's time for production. I'm going to cancel these. I'm going to keep this in manual. No, I won't be doing any upgrades for now, nor building supplies. Actually, when I'm done, I shouldn't need more than this in consumer goods, but all in due time. So for now, because I want to keep I'm going to need pretty big air force, I'm going to keep building planes. Always at least one interceptor all the time. By the way, I won't bother with tactical bombers. Why? Because again, our leadership is we have few leadership. Tactical bombers are very slow, as we can see, 200 kilometers per hour. When we have multi-roles, the multi-roles will be twice as fast, around twice as fast as this, so they can do twice the amount of ground attacks. If we need to do that, they will never be as effective as tech, but for the amount of leadership that they take, they are pretty damn effective. We'll be using fighter bombers if I need to bomb something or close air support. So, like I said, I'm going to that's another. I was almost forgetting. That is all very useful. Also useful because we have a very good light aircraft practical. So if you keep building interceptors, close air support, and multi-role fighters, we'll be increasing this light aircraft practical a lot. So we'll be able to build them fast and for much less IC, at the expense of a bit of efficiency in ground attack, but I think it's worth it, especially with the demand for officers that Soviet Union has. So like I was saying, I'm going to build the one interceptor. I need to keep I will eventually need transports, so I will be building a transport all the time. So in order to keep to raise our transport particle a bit and keep it at a decent level. Same thing here with cruisers. I'm going to, oops, not so many. I will always at least keep one or two cruisers here. Probably, let me check. We have a particle of 2.5, so this will be enough for now. But I'm probably gonna add a second one pretty soon. I want to raise our we already have, by the way, a decent artillery practical, but I want to increase this a lot and as soon as possible. So I'm going to build lots of anti-tanks. This is the fastest and best way to increase the artillery practical. This is too much, so 40 brigades for now. Okay, I still need more, no problem. I'm gonna fill the queue with these. This will give us a huge a huge practical in anti-tank. This is probably I'm going to cancel a few of them. And we're going to add another light cruiser. That's okay. So if we manage to research the techs, I will cancel all the brigades that aren't I haven't started building yet. So like I said, this will increase our artillery practical a lot. So I'm going to start building at anti-tanks in reserve, of course, because we don't want our consumer goods to skyrocket. So with production out of the way, I'm going to see what we have here in diplomacy. By the way, I don't have money for now for this, but I will enact specialist training as soon as possible. So like I said, with production out of the way, it's now time to have a look, take a look at diplomacy. So I'm going to try to sell some fuel, maybe to the no, these guys don't want it now. Maybe on day 2. Yeah, on day 2, on day 1 they usually don't accept the amount of fuel we want to sell them. Don't know why. It's standard behavior. So on day 2 we will sell fuel to these guys. Well, our time is almost up, or already up, but I'm just quickly going to say what I'm going to do with the Soviet Union army. I'm going to disband all non-reserve brigades, along with every non-infantry brigade. So I'm going to disband the tanks, I'm going to disband motorized, I'm going to disband any artillery, any level 1 artillery there. I guess we have 4 brigades of artillery. If I saw that, yeah, we have 4 brigades, but these are obsolete ones, so I'm going to disband them. So like I said, I'm going to disband all of these non-reserve brigades, because they tax our consumer goods too much. As you can see, because of our 175 regular brigades, over 30% of our IC is going to them, so I can't allow that. Our IC is not enough to be able to sustain that and big a huge army of like 1000 brigades or over 1000 brigades by the pretty much around 1000 or more, 1200 brigades, something like that, on the outbreak of the war. Not really sure, but something in between 1000 and 1200. I'm also going to disband all level 1 submarines. These guys are worthless. I won't disband the other submarines, not because I'm going to be hunting down convoys, because they have a visibility of 4. This is like a sign to say sunk me, so, or sink me. So these guys will be used as a navy while we build a proper one. So I will going to keep all navy, and I'm going to rebase them to Leningrad, and they will be needed the most, in my opinion. So like I said, I'm going to keep all the navy with the exception of level 1 subs. They have a dreadful range, that's because I'm going to disband them. Level 2 subs that already have a decent level, like destroyers. So I'm going to bring all airplanes to Moscow also, along with all brigades that are that survive the, the disbandment. They are all coming to Moscow. Why I'm telling you this? Because this is a lot of work and I'm going to do it off screen. So there's no point for you to see me that. Only thing that I'm going to show you is, because I'm going to disband all these theater headquarters, is this. I'm going to repaint all areas. As you can see, I'm going to repaint all the Soviet Union territory and give it to this theater headquarter. Only after doing this I can disband all the other headquarters. So as you can already guess, I'm going to be playing full manual. The war with almost all wars, especially the war with Germany, will be played by me, not the AI. So we can now disband all other headquarters. As you can see, there now I can disband them. So I think it's all for today, guys. In the next episode we will be seeing the army will be reorganized. No need for you guys to see that, and we will continue with this. So thank you for watching, and as always, take care.